Okay, well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Welcome to today's highly anticipated webinar, a pivotal conversation that couldn't be more timely. In the midst of workplace revolution, catalyzed by the recent global pandemic, we find ourselves navigating the uncharted waters of hybrid work, a blend of traditional office environments and the newfound norm of working from home. Today, I am privileged to have with us an esteemed speaker from Access 4. Our speaker is no stranger to the complexities and opportunities that lie within this new working paradigm. Access 4's Ben Kelly brings with him a wealth of knowledge and insights ready to be unveiled in today's session. Ben is not just the head of business development at Access 4, but also a visionary who also sees beyond challenges to grasp opportunities within disruption. With an operational and business background, coupled with a technical mindset, Ben embodies entrepreneurial spirit and good energy that breathes life into unified communications. Together, we will unravel the intricacies of maintaining staff engagement and impeccable customer service amidst hybrid work settings. So get ready for an enlightened journey as we explore unified communications as a service, or UCaaS, in driving business efficiencies, enhancing collaboration across teams, and future-proofing communication strategies. So welcome, Ben.
Wayne, thank you. Wow, what an intro. That was absolutely fantastic. I only hope to live up to such a great intro. I really appreciate it. And look, pleasure to be here with you, with your customers. Thanks very much for your time, everyone joining today. It's a real pleasure to be here. I really hope to make this, informative and insightful, maybe just challenge a few ways of thinking and just, to try and open some eyes up to, to some of the challenges and ways forward, in the modern workplace. So, great to be here with everyone. So a little bit about Access 4 and to frame the conversation and underpin what we're talking about. So it's a little bit about us. So firstly, we're channel only. So what that means is that we're a provider to the IT reseller channel. And that's really important to note, right? So we don't sell directly to end customers. What we do is select quality providers to work with and to partner with. So partners like Alliance, that we choose to work with, right? And what that means is, as wholesalers only, our quality, our reputation, and our reliability really matter. So that's important to note. Also, we've born and built our solution, our platform, our entire entity in the cloud. We're a cloud-first organization. So unlike others in the marketplace, legacy voice and comms players who are struggling to uplift their operating model, from boxes, from tin, from hardware into the cloud. We're a completely cloud native and cloud first organization, which is important to note. Also, we're ANZ based, and we do all of our development and all of our support here in Australia and New Zealand. So we have staff headquartered here in Melbourne. We've got staff up and down the eastern seaboard, also across the ditch in Auckland, New Zealand, and right across to WA as well. So important to note that you're dealing with an Aussie IT reseller and managed services provider backed by another great Aussie business who have got people here to support Alliance and support you guys as customers here in your first language and in your time zone. And we've been pretty successful. We're out to about 400 partners, resellers across ANZ. A little bit about us there. Also, we're ISO certified, something that we're pretty proud about, and we're certified to international standards on the things that really matter to partners like Alliance and that matter to customers as well. So if you look there, we're certified in information security. That's really important. We'll talk a little bit more about why that is, but also quality, OH&S, and environmental as well. And we're award-winning. So we're award-winning in the in this space. Our platform, which is called SaaS Boss, is a self-serve platform completely built for managed service providers such as Alliance, but also built for customer use as well. And we've been able to win awards and recognition for that. So I thought it would be worthwhile just stepping through what are we talking about here? What is unified communications? What it is, it's fundamentally a collection of technologies, a collection of disparate comms technologies that, such as voice, video, chat, presence, messaging, and so forth. And what this does is it centralizes the communication. And what I mean by that is it doesn't centralize it in one physical location, but it centralizes all these types of communication into your employees' location and wherever that may be. So that's centralized on the laptop, on the desktop, on the smartphone, on the tablet, etc. So it brings all these things in together. It's the unified nature of the communications platform. And because it does that, it supports flexible work from anywhere outcomes, right? And so your ability to respond when things go wrong, like pandemics or otherwise, or you need to scale, because they're inherently cloud-based and flexible in that nature, you're really able to scale out your communication solution as need be, and it's far easier to bring new employees into your environment and onboard them when you've got a flexible cloud-native, cloud-first solution. Important to note as well is a UC platform supports communication both inside your organisation, but also externally as well with your customers as well. And so what this does is it unlocks additional performance and outcome that you may not be realising at the moment. And because of all these reasons, UC is very much the modern workplace, and we'll talk about what that workplace looks like and the changes in recent years in a minute. So again, why we're unique, you can see here a little diagram, customers here at the very top, and you can see just some logos there you may be aware of or not. But what we've done is made significant investment in our business in top tier one communication solutions, unified hosted voice, and so forth. And we've brought that together into a platform that is highly secure, highly reliable, and built for an as-a-service world. So these days, rather than consuming your communication solution by buying boxes of tin and having them in the basement, very much so the modern workplace is consuming the services that a business needs to operate, consuming them as a service in the flexible nature. So you can see a bunch of top tier, class one solutions that can be individually complex to manage into one platform for our partners to operate out of, to service the customers, and indeed customers themselves can operate and self-serve in that platform as well. So lots of things integrated in a single pane of glass, making it far easier for Alliance and the likes to quickly and efficiently provide solutions, provide support, and to scale up and down as your business requires. So it's carrier grade technology that lies behind this. So some of the fundamental technologies that underpin Access 4 and underpin SaaS Boss are the same fundamental telco grade solutions that underpin some of the larger carriers here and also globally. So it's bulletproof technology and back end behind all this stuff. It's a self-service portal. As I mentioned, there's no CapEx here. As I mentioned, you're not buying a box of tin. You're buying a service and consuming it in that way. The provisioning is zero touch. Right? If you require equipment out in your location, the platform supports zero touch provisioning. So new equipment, replacement equipment can be stood up and made to work, without needing necessarily a great deal of involvement. Like I mentioned, local support, and also continuing R&D as well, and that's important to note, right? So we're specialist providers of voice and UC, to the market, and so we continue the R&D, both developing our own products, our own intellectual property, but also bringing in new top tier solutions into our environment to enable your provider alliance to keep you up to date with the latest features, the latest technologies, the latest outcomes for your business as well. So it's important to note. We're integrated with MSPs. As I mentioned, we're a wholesaler to your provider, and so we're tightly integrated in that respect, and we work with them very efficiently. Our platforms are complementary and aligned, and in many cases integrated as well. And again, as a channel-only business, all that matters to ensure that you guys are provided the best outcomes. So a little bit about modern workplace, the business landscape, and so forth. So some trends and challenges that I think will probably resonate with most of us here in the room today. There have been a number of trends driving change, and I think many of us here would recognise that the workplace is certainly more dispersed, more mobile, more remote. I think we'd all agree that the pandemic probably accelerated a trend that was already going in that direction. But where we've ended up post-pandemic is some correction back to the workplace being in person. But fundamentally, I think now baked in is this element or requirement in many cases to support a hybrid scenario. So regardless the number of days that an employee attends office or what have you, I think there's always an element going forward, or an expectation certainly in the workforce, that the workplace will support a work from anywhere outcome when that's required. So that's absolutely a big trend. Lots more happening online, which is no surprise to most of us. Lots more online meetings and online collaboration, and that's simply how the workplace has evolved. And again, choosing the right solution and technology to underpin that is critical as we go forward. This one here is, I think, really important to note as well, that the experience and the tools that you provide to your employees really directly influence or relate to the outcomes or the experiences that they are providing to your customers. And so what I mean by that is, if you're not providing modern, easy to use tools to support your employees, you run the risk of disengagement and an unwillingness to go the extra mile with your customers and that experience. And so providing the right tools to your workforce directly impacts how your employees will interact with your customers, and that's really important to note. It's important to note for your own, performance and the business, but also your brand reputation and the competitive nature of the businesses that you're in. And like I'm talking about here, the workforce is absolutely far more tech savvy, but they really want and they're really demanding their tools to be reliable, to be easy to use, and that's really an expectation now as we move out of the post-pandemic years and we look to the next horizon, I guess. Some other stats there, the distributed workforce, it more than doubled post-pandemic, and really the IT providers, in the region did a fantastic job. Brought up all the laptops and webcams that were there to be had, provided solutions out to customers as best that they could, and we were all in the same boat together. But what we've found as we come out of out of those post-pandemic years is really that realization that there has been some fundamental changes to the workplace, and now businesses really are looking to, well, okay, what is our strategy going forward? Are we providing the right kind of framework to support how we need to operate now and going forward? And you can see there, professionals spending 2 hours a day in meetings. I wish it were only 2 hours a day in meetings. Don't know if you're like me, that the day can get very full with meetings. But again, being online in meetings and collaborating is absolutely, where the modern workplace is at. And interesting that last one there, just to note as well, millennials being 3/4 of the workforce by 2025, and I was reflecting on that as I was preparing for today, and 2025 is literally just around the corner. So if we consider that just as we sit here today, but also look forward in terms of who it is that's actually occupying the seats in the workplace, and what are their requirements, what are their desires, their needs. I think if we bring that lens to it, I think that's important as well. So is this keeping customers up at night? Is this keeping you up at night? Are these the sorts of things that you worry about when you go to bed or in the commute to work? With a workplace that has fundamentally changed and has those challenges for many businesses out there, how's your employee productivity and engagement? Are you able to maintain the same camaraderie, teamwork, and productivity output in a world or in a workplace now that doesn't necessarily have everybody in the same office or group of offices? And so keep that in mind. Are your employees, are they siloed with regards to the tools that they use, to the information that they have, and the way that they collaborate and communicate? Are the workflows compromised because you don't have the right tool sets in place? How is this impacting your brand and your reputation? Are your competitors able to better support a workforce that can deliver in this environment? Do they have an edge on you in that respect? Does that create more pressure on your brand, on your business and direct competitor? And like I was talking about before, your employee retention and satisfaction is really important. Don't know if you're like us, but finding quality employees, investing in them, onboarding them, bringing them up to speed, and then retaining them. In this environment, it's really competitive. It's a big challenge for lots of businesses out there. I think we probably all share, that the same, or all feel that level of pain to some degree. And so just to kind of encourage you to consider what it is that you're providing to them in the workplace. Is it up to their expectation? And your customers' expectation, quite frankly. So, and again, this is all about how do you enable, dispersed, remote, mobile teams, to operate at the level that you need them to operate, in the way that you need to operate, and are you able to, continue the workplace practices, the workflows, and so forth that you've built out over many years? Are you able to continue that? Does it pick up and shift when someone is in a different location, or working from home, or is traveling, or what have you? Do the call flows work the way that they work in the office? Does your customer calling in, do they have a different outcome, positive or negative, depending on where your employees are actually at? So if you think about a unified communication solution, or an example of a unified communication solution, I think here a good one to look at is Microsoft Teams, and like, there's good reason for that. Is you can see that it is certainly the fastest growing and most successful business collaboration tool globally. Very much of the solution of choice for many and most organizations globally, and that obviously is leveraging the success and market presence of Microsoft and the Microsoft suite of products. But thinking about a unified comms solution, think about Teams. Many of you will be using it already, and if you're not, if you're consuming other Microsoft products, it is a very simple and straightforward additional product to uptake and integrate into your business. And so where the true unified nature of the communications piece comes is when you integrate the calling component in there as well. So you've got your scenario where your employees are using internally, they're using the voice and video and chat, the document sharing and collaboration components of the suite. When you add in your business calling solution into that, that's when you really unlock some additional benefits and outcomes for your business. So what Teams calling is it's adding in the telephony component, the PABX component, your business telephony solution then becomes integrated and part of the Teams calling solution. So you keep your telephone numbers, you keep your call flows, but that is then built out and emulated in the Teams environment, freeing up your business again from requiring that box on the wall, and that telco relationship. Whereas, I contend that you're better off dealing, with a modern cloud first comm solution underpinned by your trusted advisor. And like I say, expands the functionality of that suite, and it syncs across the devices wherever your employees need to consume it, right? Whether it's the desktop, laptop, the smartphone, the tablet, etc. And like I say, for many customers, many businesses, it can be a complete PAPX replacement. So think of Teams and Teams calling when you think of an example of unified comms. It's not the only example, but it's very, very popular. And there you go. One of the strengths, I guess, that Alliance have and our partners have, and the abilities that you have as customers is to have a Teams calling solution, but I guess enhanced in that we have a pretty unique ability to uplift the native Teams calling solution. That is like the Microsoft solution. We're able to uplift and append in a straightforward way some additional features and outcomes that don't exist in the platform today, or may not exist so well in the platform today. And so think about things like you see on the screen, like your company's IVR, proper call queuing if that's required, premium call queuing, with whisper messages and announcements, and timing and so forth, ability to drop in and out and leave messages, CRM integration as well, be that Salesforce or Pubify or Dynamics, whatever it is, the ability to integrate your comm solution can be really powerful. You may have that today with a legacy solution. You expect to have that going forward? Yes. If you don't have it today, could that unlock some additional performance? It may be, right? So the ability to, for your employees to know who's calling before they answer the call, and have an idea of why that may be, can really enhance the customer's journey with you, and enable your employees to service them better, faster, more authentically, I think. And so what you can do is you can really build out, like I say, that bespoke arrangement. So with Access 4 and Alliance, you're able to have a component of your power users, your super users in the business that need this additional functionality or potentially additional resiliency, have those users with those outcomes, and there are the wider base of your employees that may just need the additional calling component added, that can be brought into one solution seamlessly and at the best cost outcome for your team as well. So, and again, what are we talking about is bringing that calling component in to really round out the final piece of the puzzle with regards to unifying your communications both internally and externally in a centralized place as well. I thought I'd talk a little bit as well about analytics, and what I mean by analytics is usable insights. So I really think that if I'm investing in a new communication solution, I really feel like I should expect more from that solution, or more from my telco spend. And what I mean by that is, going forward, no longer is it good enough just to have a solution that makes and takes calls, for example. I think my business needs insights. I want to know what is going on inside my business and with regards to communication, particularly as it relates to how my customers are interacting with that. So from a productivity standpoint, who am I? How are my staff performing? Are they being productive? Are they doing what they need to do? From a customer standpoint, what's their journey? What's their experience of contacting my business? Am I missing calls? Am I concerned that there's 59 unreturned calls there? What's the opportunity cost to my business for there to be 59 unreturned calls there. If I miss a call, what's that potentially going to cost me in terms of lost sales, lost revenue, lost, my customer going down the road to my competitor. So when I talk about analytics, I talk about usable insights, practical usable insights, and depending on the requirement, that can be live, in moment dashboarding, displays, for in-time management, or it could simply be retrospective. It could simply be executive level. How we gone this week? Oh, okay, I can see my busy times on a Tuesday between 11 and 12 when we're missing calls. What do we need to do to fix that? So at a very basic level, if I'm investing in a new comms solution or looking at what I should expect from my comms solution going forward, for me, very much looking for something that delivers me more than just making and taking phone calls. I want to know how well it's working, and I want to know how well my customers are interacting with it. I want to know how well my staff are performing with it. So communications continuity, to take a little bit of a sidestep, I'd encourage everyone to think about continuity of their comms solution in the same way or with the same degree of seriousness that you would consider the other business continuity, your internet, your data, etc. For many businesses out there, still the voice channel is still a very significant channel in respect of how they operate, and where their business, where their revenue, where their customers come from. And so, ensuring that the solution that you've selected is secure is really important, right? You've seen, everyone's seen in the press of late, people being hacked or otherwise compromised, and no business wants to be the next one in that, in that list. Any incidents of cybersecurity has a real and significant impact on any level of business. And so when I talked before about why it's important to have things like international standard certifications and things like securities, it's really important, to ensure that whatever solution you're putting into your business, where your employees are, where your customers are, where your information is, your customers' information is, ensuring that it is secure is really paramount. And it's no different to the security framework or outlook that you would have for any other part of your business. It's very critical. Is the solution that you're putting in going to be available when you need it to be? Is it okay to have an outage? How reliable is the platform that you're putting in? Who is the provider behind that platform, and how quickly will any issues be resolved? Again, as we move forward in a more cloud first world, what is underpinning what's being provided to me, and who is providing it is really important. So is that platform secure as it needs to be? Is it available to me and my employees and my customers when it needs to be? And is it redundant? Again, if you think about recent things in the press, we've seen telcos, for example, have significant outages in recent times. And so, what would that mean if you were in that situation? Sad to hear that. I'm sure it was painful. If you weren't in that situation, just consider for a moment, what would that have been like for my business? What would be the impact if my carrier is offline for one reason or another? And so, separate to that, or different to that, or unlike that, is a scenario like Access 4 and like Alliance can provide, is a redundant platform. So an example is a carrier outage. So we have 7 carriers that we plug into in Australia and New Zealand. And so in the circumstance, like a few weeks ago, if a particular carrier has a significant issue for one reason or another, we're dynamically routing your calling. You don't need to do anything about it. You don't need to call us. You don't need to call Alliance. You're being dynamically routed by another carrier, and that's fundamental resiliency and redundancy built into the platform and the back end that you're selecting. So, you know, again, as we go forward, is it okay to be offline for you know, for any period of time? I contend that it isn't. And just as an illustration, grabbed a network diagram, and it's been prepared by people that are way smarter than me. But again, it's just a little illustration here of the thought that goes behind a bespoke comm solution across Australia and New Zealand. So, you know, multi-location, multi-points of presence, geo-redundant clusters, and a lot of thinking that goes in the background, you know, to provide a really quality outcome and a quality set of solutions, no matter what the endpoint is, no matter if it's a Teams client that you're using, if it's a straightforward handset, a headset or otherwise, you know, ensuring that the solution that you acquire is secure, is redundant, it's reliable, and it's available to you when you need to use it. So there's some of the primary, I guess, themes that we wanted to talk about today. So as we move, I guess, towards more of that Q&A opportunity, you know, hopefully I've provided a little bit of food for thought here around the modern workplace, the changing trends, you know, of the workplace, and I guess the power of unified communication solutions to deliver and enable your business to deliver, you know, for your employees and your customers in a world that does work from anywhere these days. You know, I think, like I said before, expect more from your telco spend. You know, if you've got a relationship with a telco, do you really have a relationship with the telco? Does anyone? You know, are they invested in your business? Are they involved in your business to understand you? Or is the telco bill just something that you pay every month and it provides you something that makes and takes a call? I think you could do better with that spend, with a solution that can provide better outcomes, you know, for your business and unlock additional performance and so on. Choose a solution that's secure and reliable, like I mentioned. And, you know, if there's any advice really in terms of where do I go to get my advice, get your advice from your trusted advisor. You know, quality operators like Alliance, who we've been doing business with for some time. You know, because why? Because they've selected specialist providers that they are aligned with. You know, companies like our own. You know, to ensure that you do get the best advice, you do get the best you know, variety of solutions to you know, to meet your business outcomes. So, yeah, hopefully that's a little food for thought, thought provoking, hopefully. Yeah, so. Probably question time, I think. Wayne, if you're there, are there questions in the chat?
Yep, we've had one question come in from Craig. Most internet connections now include phones in the price. How do we offset this cost if you sign over to Access for your phones through Teams?
Yeah, interesting. Bundle it together or have it separate. It's interesting, right? So, you know, are you getting a better outcome for the telephony? Are you getting a better outcome for the net? Are those two things better together, or are they easily decoupled? And do you get a better outcome by separating? So, can you come to a different commercial outcome for your internet and your telephony? Absolutely. You know, it's a thing called a renewal cycle, and talking with your trusted advisor, you know, in the lead up to that allows us collectively to put forward a pathway forward and options to you to know, you know, to not necessarily re-sign and go through that same cycle again. So you're certainly not locked in. You own your telephone numbers and your outcome. So I think in respect of expecting more, there's certainly no detriment to decoupling internet and data, and allow us to provide some options before you renew and you don't hear from the telco again for 3 years potentially.
So in this instance, we've got they can't be decoupled. So the provider obviously doesn't let them decouple the internet from the phone in this instance.
Yeah. I'd encourage you to look at options. I mean, again, the telephone numbers, I would presume in this scenario, you know, would be with your business, and that really is the key point. Do your customers contact you because they know your internet connection, or do they know your telephone number? And really, that's the powerful piece here. So, do you have the ability to pick up and lift and shift your telephone numbers to another provider? Yes, you do, absolutely, and that is law. Not just because I say that's the case. So do you have options? Are there things that we need to potentially look at as part of that in terms of who owns the handsets? Can those handsets be reused with another solution? Absolutely, right? But that's part of the discovery piece of what is your current situation? How is what solution are you using at the moment? How much are you paying for it? What do you like about it? What don't you like about it? What do you wish that it could do? Right. And then you obviously have a consultation with your provider, with Wayne and Bree and Baz and the team, who can put forward solutions and a pathway to a different outcome.
Perfect. We've got no other questions in there at the moment. If anybody else has any questions, you should be able to see the Q&A question chat just at the bottom of the screen. Feel free to type in. I'll just say thank you to Ben, and thank you everybody for joining us today for this insightful webinar. Just as we wrap up this session, I'd like to share a few key takeaways I've picked out from Ben's slides there. So obviously we're all in a hybrid work revolution. The workplace landscape has transformed dramatically due to those paradigms. Hybrid work combining office-based and remote work is now the norm. And as Ben had a nice graph there earlier, with 3/4 of the workforce projected to be millennials by next year, we're certainly all got to do some catching up in some areas. Also another one, UCaaS continuity. So we touched on business continuity there from the phone system side of things. Having those 7 different providers for obviously the upstream carriers is one big benefit that we've always found when we've paired up with Access 4 for these systems. So it's essential for seamless and secure collaboration, business continuity, and future-proofing communication strategies is where we see the unified communications as a service fit. One last thing that we all know well there as well is MS Teams. I don't think it's going to be too long before we see this becoming its own operating system, sort of like the Chromebooks that are out there. It empowers collaboration, bridges distance, and shapes a digital landscape through seamless communication, whether we're typing a text in a chat message or if we're speaking and using the voice. So I'll just have a quick check and see if we've got any more questions come in. We've just got another one come in, Ben.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry. So Marianne is just asking, who can we talk to investigate this further? Obviously, you can reach out to any of us at Alliance Business Technologies. You could email us on sales@abtechnologies.com.au, or feel free to give us a call through on 1300 705 062. You can always find these details on our websites as well. No other questions coming through. We'll give it a moment. Okay, if we've not got any other questions, I think we can wrap it up there, Ben, unless you've got any other wistful insights to provide.
Just a thank you. Just a thanks very much for having us. Really appreciate the opportunity. It's great being able to have the opportunity to talk with you, with some of your customers, and couldn't thank you more.
Yeah, we appreciate your time today. So remember, knowledge empowers us, and your curiosity drives meaningful discussions. So thanks again, everybody, for joining us and being part of this webinar today.